Okay, so we are doing our leadership mindset reset moment. I'm Carrie Vanston, and I've got our mastermind group here, and I'm going to start off with giving some some ideas on how to practice gratitude, and then some of our attendees may jump into and give their ideas. Gratitude is such an important way to achieve your goals and really have joy and abundance in your life, because when we have negative thoughts and when we have neutral thoughts, often if we really practice gratitude, we can take up that space in our conscious and unconscious mind with positiveness and kind of crowd out those negative thoughts, because our brain can only function with a certain amount of stuff going on at one time. So gratitude is really important. It's also really important because it connects our unconscious mind with our conscious mind, because our unconscious mind really only deals with more feelings, while our conscious mind deals with more facts. And the gratitude kind of like connects the two. So I wanted to give 3 kind of ideas for practicing gratitude. One is when you're in groups, like with your family, one of the things that I do and that I suggest my clients do is at the dinner table or sometime, really specifically go around and each person say their 3 gratitudes for the day, or 1 or 2, but we do 3. And each person has a chance to go around, and this gets people in a positive state of mind, and it really starts making you appreciate during the day. Oh, well, this is a gratitude. Maybe I can share that at dinner. And they can be big ones, like for example, last night one of my gratefuls was that my son got on the soccer team at 4 Points. Another one was that my big fluffy slippers that I wear all the time, they fit inside my older son's shoes, so I can stick them in and I can walk up and get the newspaper. So anything that really just gets your mind going. And I know one of my clients, her mother, she lives with her mother, and her mother is very negative, and it just really brought her down, and she started practicing this, and it really brought the conversation up. And you can do it with your employees or with your team, or whoever you meet with regularly too. And at the end of our mastermind session today, I'm going to ask everybody, instead of saying one thing that they really have a takeaway, I would like everyone to say what they were grateful about for the mastermind meeting. So you can just use this in a lot of different ways, but it just puts you in a habit of looking for those gratefuls. So that's number 1. Number 2 is rapid fire gratefuls. So when you're kind of stuck in that alligator pit, the proverbial alligator pit of frustration or stress or uncertainty, just start firing out. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful, I'm thankful for my electricity. I'm thankful that the dog came in. I'm thankful that the refrigerator's working. I'm thankful that my the thing that I'm working on at work is moving along. And just rapid fire, just fill yourself up with these gratefuls. And it just kind of gets you off. I actually do this sometimes when I'm trying to go to sleep. Just all the things I'm grateful for. It's kind of like counting your blessings, counting your gratitudes. So that's another idea you might try. Number 3, take a goal and put it on a champagne bottle like this. I want to get an online program up sometime soon, and put it on a bottle of champagne and put it on your desk. And whenever you look at it, think, God, I'm so grateful that I'm going to get an online program up sometime soon. And this way you really kind of put it into your unconscious. You take that unconscious and you connect it with a conscious, and the law of attraction. You put your thoughts are things, and you really start connecting that, and you get your goals, and you get that joy and abundance much quicker than you would otherwise. So, and you could put a picture of what you want there, and so that you're always looking at it. You can put post-its around so that it's always reminding you. But those are 3 ways you can kind of practice gratitude and get your goals achieved. I would love for y'all to share anything that you have in mind on how you do the same thing. Anybody have any thoughts?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
Happy to jump in. Generally, when I'm trying to, when I'm working with other people, trying to solve problems and trying to deal with issues, more often than not, the solution comes from the people around me. The sometimes dark space inside my head may not contain the answer. It has to come from someplace external. So with that concept in mind, my way of practicing gratitude and genuinely doing it all the time in companies I've been in is in my interactions with my employees and other folks. And that is when they walk into my office, whenever I meet them for any reason, they get 100% of my attention. It's my show of respect and gratitude to them. I turn off my phone, I put down my paper, I cross my arms, and I give them 100% focus. If people come in my office trying to ask me a quick question, distracting, something else happens, I kindly ask them to wave off, because right now, this person who I respect and appreciate is going to get 100% of my attention, and I listen actively. And then when they're done, hopefully that also brings up their game, because they know I'm listening closely, I'm hanging on their words, so they're really, working hard to present their best ideas and their best message. And I'm listening. And when I'm through with them, or when we're done with our discussion, the next person who is perhaps trying to get my attention, I go give them 100% of my attention. But it also comes from a pet peeve of mine. I really hate it when someone I'm trying to talk to looks away, goes into the other room, is distracting. And with my 12-year-old daughter, this is a lesson that I'm trying to teach her on a regular basis, that when she's communicating with me, turn and face me, communicate clearly, give me 100% of your attention. And when you do that and you learn how to communicate with other folks that way, you're going to be far more successful.
And I love that you're intentional about it, that, that's a rule that you have in your mind, that, you're intentional, that you're going to change the way you're going to change the way you're interacting with, you're going to be intentional and conscious about the way you respond to other people, interact with other people. So that's fantastic. Great reset mindset. Would anybody else like to share an idea?
I think the mindfulness is there, especially in this time of a lot of virtual. I'm doing a lot of virtual interactions with employees in the different companies, and you really got to get on a one-on-one with them. And I don't want to just pick up the phone. I want to try and have some sort of a face-to-face if I can, and I want to make sure each person understands why we think the role is significant to what we're trying to accomplish. And if they don't understand, I want to fill that in, because they need to when we talk about gratefulness, they're so critical to the mission, especially in a smaller company, 10, 30, 50 employees. Everybody is one deep and everybody's relying on that person. And so the way I show that gratitude is I remind them how much responsibility we've given them, because we trust them and because that's their contribution to the organization. And I think that once you've had that conversation, I've seen it repeatedly now, they kind of get it, how important it is. They don't want to look the team down on one hand, but also it opens up a dialogue so they can, hey, can we have a quick conversation about this? We have this whole thing going on one-on-one over here, about where they are. One of the things that may foster a discussion they've been wanting to have for years with the organization about their advancement or whatever it might be. But it really begins, and I think that's what people are looking for. It's just to your point, Andy, being listened to on a one-on-one basis. We're all the first flying every day. We're doing things, but I think it's that one-on-one. Now, having said that, we have a Friday team meeting or a Monday or whatever, and you definitely want to praise in public. And I think that gratitude's important. You don't want to do it cheesy. It's not something goofy. Really point out a meaningful contribution that impacted the team, or have somebody else recommend one to everybody. And I think that's really valuable. I mean, I don't think it's whatever you call it, just the speak or cliche or what have you. I think it's really important to make sure that, to your point, Carrie, that we purposely find these opportunities to recognize the accomplishments over the last week or month or what have you. and there's usually somebody that's done something extraordinary.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we're really, as humans, we're really wired to be cared about and to be appreciated, and you know, have value. So you know, just showing that gratitude, you know, it makes all the difference in the world to people. David?
Picking up on both of your comments, there's the old saying about if you don't talk nearly as much, whatever you say sounds so much more important. And I think the important thing is the genuineness of it, and to Andy's point, the respect for an individual. I had a boss who was the chairman of the company, and I mean, he would occasionally do some extraordinary things to reinforce people. One day I showed up in my office, and the chairman had walked down the hall, and I got back, and my secretary said, Kenny was here. He went in your office. I don't know what the deal is. So in the office, on one of his sheets of notepaper was a note. He said, I just stopped by to tell you how much I appreciate the extraordinary things you do for the company. And he signed it, and that was it. I still have in a file somewhere that single sheet of paper. He was great at praising people in public, but he didn't do it too often. I mean, I would rather have one every 6 months that you could go to town on and bank than somebody saying, yeah, he's a good person or whatever all the time. And the odd, not too contrived, the odd circumstances where it just sort of comes truly felt and then move on are probably going to count more because they show a genuine respect for that other person and not overdo it. I mean, we all have jobs. Everybody is, you have a contract. Early on, the first bank I ever worked for, the chairman said when he started his banking career, he was with a little bank in Beaumont. And the CEO is a hard-nosed small community banker. He says, look, every 2 weeks you get paid and we're even. There is a certain expectation. You're here for a commercial reason because I'm going to pay you. And the deal is I'm probably going to get more than you're getting paid. So we're coming out all ahead. You get your money. And sometimes it's not a professional thing. It's people simply want to be appreciated for what they do. There's scads of studies that show this. Going back to my early banking career days. Go ahead, Charu. Hi.
Hi, Charu. What that reminded me of was I was doing a speaking gig in San Francisco one time, and I happened to be there. Well, you know, I had read someplace that, you know, you tip the maid, you know, it was really nice to tip the maid $1 or $2, but do it on the day, you know, do it every day, not at the end, so that she can appreciate, he or she can appreciate it, but also write a little note. So I wrote a little note and I said, thank you so much for your service. I really appreciate it. So I was there working on my computer when the maid came in, and I wasn't paying attention to her. She comes over to me, she taps me in the shoulder, and she goes, she didn't speak English, but she pointed the note, and she was almost in tears. She said, gracias, gracias. And it was so amazing that something that little can make such a difference. So yeah.
When I was starting out in banking, my first career, there was an older guy. Was a classic old-fashioned banker. He was about 60, 65, silver-haired, tall, slender, gray suit, country boy. And he said, you know, a lot of times all they really need, referring to people who were coming along, is you just gotta stop. And I swear, that's what he said. You just got to stop and give them a little pat on the popo, and that's all they need. And I've never forgotten, you know, decades ago that comment. And sometimes it doesn't take much, but it needs to be heartfelt and with genuine regard.
You got to be careful about tapping people on the papa nowadays, though.
I don't even know what that is. I'm not sure.
But it could be misconstrued.
Is that your head?
In the last century, in the context, you could get away with it. But.
Edwin, do you have any quick comment? We've got to get started on the on our masterminding, but do you have any comment, Edwin?
Yes, the point that I wanted to add really quick is that oftentimes when conversation is added in a group, it's very easy for the group to, or for a couple of elements in a group to take the mood of the group towards complaining about something that is not working out or something that is happening. And in that case, being grateful and expressing gratitude about something that you consider that is happening good to you is such a powerful tool to actually change the whole culture and the environment, and going from a negative and turn it into a positive and into appreciating the good things that you get to enjoy, and just changing the whole mindset of that group into a better level of moving the whole group forward.
It's so true. It's like having it at the end, like where everybody goes around and do gratefuls. That's really nice. But if you really got a negative group, you can start with something that everybody's something that everybody is grateful for, to try to get it on starting it off. Anyway, we need to jump in. Charu, we've been welcome. We've been talking about gratitude. And recording it. So I'm going to go ahead, unless you have like a couple of sentences, because we do have to get started. Charu, did you have anything, a couple of sentences about gratitude, that maybe something that you practice? We can't hear you.
All along I was a very quiet person. That's good impression. So I always like to, I would say, appreciate first thing. If anybody does anything, be appreciative, send a note, make sure that other person hears you and gets the message equally. That I follow principally by any means, anytime, with my employees or with anyone. I don't forget to thank as the first thing I follow. And normally, I think it also goes with individual personality to get along or able to be on the same side with the other people, not really sitting across, but just to be with the person and say, hey, feel the same pain. That's something motivates me a lot. And I'm passionate, be passionate about it, because I genuinely believe that everybody does take a lot of efforts when they're doing something. Nothing comes easy. So I treat everybody, I don't think anything extraordinary we try to do. Everybody does it in different way, and everybody has a pain points in life, even though they feel that extremely happy, but they have their own pain points too. It's just they are not telling you about this one. These are the points I remember in my life all the time.
And that's, I think, one of the really ways that we can show gratitude is by asking open-ended questions of people that we, that we're working with and that we care about, not just, did you have a good day, but, what type of day did you have? What do you love about your job? What's going on with you? And that kind of shows the gratitude that you care about who they are as people. So thank you, everybody, for putting that input in. We'll save that and we'll post it up on the Facebook page. And then now we're going to go ahead and go into 10 minutes for each person, eight minutes to talk about what's going on with you and anything that you'd like to process. And then we have 2 minutes of responding to that in the way of, have you considered? And so we do that for 2 minutes. So anybody who's watching this, come and join us for our next mastermind, because it's wonderful and we really get to talk to each other on a little bit deeper level than just having the roundtable speaker. So thank you if you listen to this.